My brothers and sisters, Biden says he'll sign proposed TikTok ban if Congress passes it. Washington AP, President Joe Biden on Friday endorsed legislation that could lead to the popular video sharing app TikTok being banned in the United States, a move that comes amid growing concern in Washington about keeping Americans' data out of China's hands. The legislation that passed through the U.S. House Energy and Commerce Committee unanimously on Thursday calls on China's ByteDance to divest its ownership of TikTok or effectively face a U.S. ban. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson also supports the bill and has indicated it would soon come up for a full vote in the House. If they pass it, I'll sign it, Biden said when asked by reporters about the legislation. The White House had provided technical support in the drafting of the bill. The White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said earlier this week the TikTok legislation still needs some work to get to a place where Biden would endorse it. Former President Donald Trump, the likely Republican nominee, came out in a Truth Social post on Thursday saying he opposed a ban because it would help rival social media platform Facebook. Trump's opposition to the legislation comes after he issued, and then rescinded, an executive action late in his presidency intended to ban TikTok and another popular app, WeChat. Watch why a ban on TikTok won't solve all data privacy concerns. Trump's pushback puts him on the opposite side of the debate of powerful Republicans, including Johnson and Republican House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, who has called the legislation a critical national security bill. Both the FBI and the Federal Communications Commission have warned that TikTok owner ByteDance could share user data, such as browsing history, location, and biometric identifiers, with China's authoritarian government. TikTok said it has never done that and wouldn't do so if asked. The U.S. government also hasn't provided evidence of that happening. In a separate move, Biden recently signed an executive order allowing the Department of Justice and other federal agencies to take steps to prevent the large-scale transfer of Americans' personal data to what the White House calls countries of concern, including China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, Cuba, and Venezuela. Biden, in 2022, banned the use of TikTok by the federal government's nearly 4 million employees on devices owned by its agencies, with limited exceptions for law enforcement, national security, and security research purposes. While his administration has raised national security concerns about TikTok, Biden's re-election campaign last month joined the platform. If enacted, the bill would effectively ban TikTok and other ByteDance apps from being available in Apple or Google app stores or on web hosting services in the U.S. Read more, Biden campaign joins TikTok, but administration still warns of apps' national security concerns. The bill takes a two-pronged approach. First, it requires ByteDance Ltd., which is based in Beijing, to divest TikTok and other applications it controls within 180 days of enactment of the bill, or those applications will be prohibited in the United States. Second, it creates a narrow process to let the executive branch prohibit access to an app owned by a foreign adversary if it poses a threat to national security. The company also has promised to wall off U.S. user data from its parent company through a separate entity run independently from ByteDance and monitored by outside observers. A poll published last month by the Associated Press and NORC Center for Public Affairs Research found Americans are deeply divided on the issue of banning the app. 31% of U.S. adults said they would favor a nationwide ban on TikTok use, while 35% said they would oppose that type of action. An additional 31% of adults said they neither favor nor oppose a ban on the social media platform. The AP-NORC poll shows TikTok users, about 170 million in the U.S., most of whom skew younger, are less likely to be worried about the app sharing American users' data, reflecting a previously felt generational divide. About a quarter of daily users say they are extremely or very concerned about the idea of the Chinese government obtaining the personal information of users, compared to about half of U.S. adults overall. Next, my brothers and sisters, my friend Astro Alexandra talks about the TikTok ban in this next video here.
Not enough people are talking about this. They're trying to ban TikTok tomorrow. And this time it's different. I'm Astro Alexandra, and I use TikTok to teach millions of people about science and space and show people how wonderful the universe is. And they learn. People learn on TikTok. 1 in 4 Americans on TikTok turn to the app to enrich their education. That makes nearly 40 million people turning to people like me for their education. Tomorrow, Congress is voting on a bill that would allow the United States to ban TikTok. TikTok spent billions of dollars creating a plan to house US user data with a long-trusted US company, Oracle. Those measures weren't required by TikTok. They did that on their own without being asked, and that is more than other social media companies have done, other companies that have sold our data. The TikTok CEO testified to Congress that the Chinese government has never requested US user data and that the app wouldn't comply if they did. That makes me feel safer on TikTok than on other apps. Our own president is on TikTok. Multiple congresspeople are on TikTok. This is where we're getting our news and information and power and expressing our art and our creativity and our joy. The vote is tomorrow. Call Congress at this number and tell your congressman to vote no on the TikTok ban. It is their job to listen to their constituents. Don't let us lose this space.
If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and other social media platforms to My Brothers and Sisters.